and welcome to the program. Ukraine's agriculture sector has a successful year so far. According to official statistics, agricultural exports increased by almost 25% between January and September this year. That compared with the first 9 months of 2016. But what more can be done to ensure this upward trend in trade continues? Joining us is Vysotskyi, General Director of the Association Ukrainian Agribusiness Club. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thanks for inviting.
So, how can Ukraine reclaim its title of breadbasket of Europe? Obviously, that's what it's been dubbed before, but this isn't what Ukraine is known as now.
Actually, Ukrainian agriculture has done a lot during the last 3 years to recover all of this status, and but really lots of potential is still unrealized. According to our calculations, it can be at least additional 30–40% growth in the midterm and at least double growth in the long term.
Now, is that quite a big number compared to the same time, say in 2016 and 2015?
Actually, no, but really during the last 3 years it was more or less stable growth, but really it can double or it can really lift up very quickly in the nearest future.
Right. So how much does Ukraine's agricultural sector contribute to the GDP of the country?
If you look at the official statistics, it is around 16–18% of the GDP, but the expert calculations we do in our associations, if you take into account also other subsectors which are relying on the agriculture, it can be up to 30%. I mean, infrastructure, logistics, and so on. So it is quite substantial.
But that number, 30% for Ukraine, is that a relatively small number, considering that Ukraine has the richest type of soil in the whole of Europe, and it has so much potential?
Yes, actually, you're right. If you look at this number, it is large, but first of all, due to the overall decline of the economy. And if you look at the absolute figures of the agricultural sector, indeed, it's not so large if it could be. Taking into account the natural conditions, the favorable infrastructure position, logistics, and really closeness of the international markets, it can really increase.
So, a few contributing factors must come together in order for Ukraine to really reclaim that breadbasket title. Now, it's largely reported that agricultural imports into Ukraine are growing, and in the first 5 months, as you said yourself as well, they grew by almost $200 million US dollars. Now, what products are lucrative in the agricultural sector?
Actually, if you look at the import, usually it is a number of products which are more or less not produced in Ukraine. So we have two categories. First of all, fruits and vegetables, which are, according to the geography of Ukraine, can't be produced here. And we have another group of the products which can be produced in Ukraine, but so luxury products, which are consumed by the most wealthy consumers, which are regarded as a better quality, more safe, and so on, like milk, meat, and other products out from these products. And
Ukraine has into force, the Canada-Ukraine Free Trade Agreement has also come into force. How has that affected Ukraine's agricultural sector?
The association with the European Union actually has had a positive influence. We see the increase of bilateral trade. We see the increase of export, of agricultural export from Ukraine, and simple but still increase of import. First of all, it is very beneficial for agricultural export from Ukraine, as it has provided the possibility new markets which are opened with duty-free, and second, it has created stimulus to increase the quality of the products, which helped not only to enter the European Union, but also which helped to start exporting to other countries in the world, which regard the European Union as a benchmark, and which assumes that if products are exported to the European Union, then they are of high quality and they can be exported to like Southeast Asia and Middle East as well.
Right. Now that you were just mentioning the European Union agreement with Ukraine. Now, what about Canada? Recently, the free trade agreement was signed, and we've seen a lot of posts by Natalia Mikulska, the Economy Deputy Minister, and there's a call for Ukrainian agricultural small businesses, medium-sized businesses to export and to create links with Canadian businesses. Now, how has that influenced Ukraine's agricultural sector?
So far, it couldn't have influence it substantially, as we should take into account that usually in agriculture, especially in crop productions, you have like one yield per year. So it takes time to start producing new products, to start producing new products which can be focused on Canada. But potentially, indeed, it has lots of possibilities which can be provided, first of all, for small farmers in some horticulture and other labor-consuming, labor-intensive products. So we will look in the future. The agreement is in place, and it should provide first results as soon as next year, when we have the new yield, the new growing seasons in our sector.
So a bit more time, I see. Now, what about the land reform? There's a lot of contention. Some say that the land belongs to the people, while others say that regulations should be loosened on who purchases and which companies purchase Ukrainian land. Now, how does this play into the broader scheme of things in Ukraine's agricultural sector, and how will this effectively have some sort of effect on the agricultural sector?
Actually, the absence of agricultural market so far has had a negative influence on investments. It is without doubts, from the economic point of view and from the point of attraction of investments, we need agricultural land market. The more liberal it is, the better from the economic point of view. Of course, there will be some politics discussions. There should be some compromise found, but it is clear, without introduction of agricultural land market, we will not see growing of the agricultural sector, and we will not see an inflow of large investments in the agricultural sector.
I see. Well, very, very interesting. Thank you so much for coming into the studio and joining me today.
Thanks for inviting me.
So in the studio, that was Taras Vysotskyi. He's the General Director of the Association Ukrainian Agribusiness Club. You're watching UATV.